talking about? Come on!
Directed by Joseph Kosinski, Top Gun: Maverick is the recently released sequel to the 1986 smash hit Top Gun. Led by Tom Cruise, it follows a dysfunctional team of pilots who have to rally under their instructor and pull off an impossible mission. A mission impossible, if you will. Top Gun: Maverick does what every other sequel wishes it could, presenting the audience with an experience that is both familiar and refreshing. It uses the original film to craft a better story with more effective characters and action.
Aviation film like this has never been done, and chances are will never be done again.
I wasn't ready to make a sequel until we had a special story and until technology evolved so we could delve deeper into the experience of a fighter pilot.
When it comes to structure, Maverick sticks closely to the formula of the first film. We have a talented instructor trying to train a group of rowdy recruits, but the sequel doubles down on the drama and offers higher stakes, making its realistic action and thrilling conclusion captivating. Set approximately 30 years after the events of the first film, we continue on the journey with Pete Maverick Mitchell, one of the best fighter pilots in the United States Navy. Maverick has come a long way since his glory days, but still has an insatiable need for speed. Living in the arid Mojave Desert and doing his best to avoid a midlife crisis, he fulfills this need by testing new aircraft with military contractors. Maverick and his team work on the experimental Dark Star jet, attempting to push it to Mach 10 speed. With cancellation of the project looming overhead, during a last-second test run, Maverick succeeds in reaching Mach 10, but pushes the engines beyond what it can bear, causing the plane to explode. He manages to eject in time and avoid a fiery death, but his recklessness almost costs him his career. At the request of old friend and now Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky, Maverick is sent to the North Island Naval Air Station in California, where he is tasked with training a special group of pilots at the Top Gun School of Aerial Combat. Competition at Top Gun is still a major element, but the story is anchored in the struggles of Maverick and must find a balance between rectifying his past and fulfilling his duty and responsibilities in the present. Arriving in San Diego and enjoying a speedy commute on his motorcycle, he meets with his commanding officers, Admiral Bo Cyclone Simpson and Admiral Solomon Warlock Bates. Voicing his general mistrust of him, Cyclone briefs Maverick on his duty to train a squad of 12 talented pilots to carry out an incredibly dangerous mission. In a nearby rogue nation, a uranium enrichment plant is close to being operational. Naturally, the Pentagon wants it destroyed. Placed in a deep cavernous valley and surrounded by missile systems, precision bombing seems to be the only option, requiring a squadron of pilots to carry it out. With only 3 weeks to train them for the dangerous objective, Maverick initially doubts their chances of success without fatalities. His uneasiness is made even worse when he discovers that Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, the son of his deceased wingman Goose, is part of the team of recruits. While visiting a local bar and kicking back a few drinks, Maverick reunites with Penny and catches a glimpse of his trainees, each with their own identifying call sign, including Hangman, Payback, Phoenix, and Bob. Despite the camaraderie and playful rivalries between them, it's obvious that Maverick is still haunted by his past, and he attempts to leave as soon as Rooster arrives. The next day, Maverick greets his students and promises to push them to their limits in a variety of tests and simulations in the coming weeks. Things begin smoothly enough, but tensions between Rooster and Maverick start to boil over, with Rooster resenting him for delaying his application to the Naval Academy and sandbagging his career, an act Maverick did at the request of Rooster's mother before she passed away. After seeking some advice from Iceman, who was suffering from late-stage throat cancer, Maverick realizes that Rooster needs his guidance more than ever, and doubles down on the training. Despite a major accident during a simulated run of the mission route, wherein Phoenix and Bob are almost killed, morale begins to improve, at least until tragedy strikes. Succumbing to his terminal illness, Iceman dies, leaving Cyclone in charge of the operation. Although Maverick encounters renewed pushback from Cyclone, who even attempts to take over the class and change parameters at the last second, he proves his worth by successfully flying the simulated route, and in the process is appointed team leader for the mission. Instead of being grounded while his group carries out the task, he must now lead them in the skies to either glorious victory or deathly defeat, truly leading by example. For the squadron that will participate in the mission, Maverick chooses Payback, Fanboy, Phoenix, and Bob for his support, while Rooster acts as the all-important wingman. In a stunning feat of miraculous flying, the team manages to complete their objective, but are pursued by 2 enemy pilots flying technologically superior 5th-generation fighter jets. When Rooster runs out of flares and is targeted by enemy missiles, Maverick pulls a last-second maneuver to protect him, but is shot down in the process. Nearly killed by a patrolling attack helicopter, Maverick is then rescued by Rooster, who defies orders and is also shot out of the air by enemy combatants. Together, they steal an old F-14 Tomcat from a nearby enemy airfield and almost make it back to the air carrier before they're engaged by multiple enemies. Outpaced and outgunned, Maverick and Rooster prepare for certain death, but are then saved in the nick of time by Hangman, who takes the enemies out and leads them back to safety. Finally back on solid ground and with their mission accomplished, Rooster and Maverick embrace, leaving behind any bad blood. Returning to Penny and riding off into the sunset, Maverick reflects on his journey, his demons finally at rest.
Tom said to me specifically at the beginning is he wanted to make the greatest aviation film ever made. And you can't do that in a studio. You gotta get in the air.
I'm very proud of what we all accomplished. Each one of them are extraordinary.
The overarching themes of responsibility, family, and honor are at the heart of this movie and can be seen through Maverick and Rooster. The pair independently confront their past, Maverick with his feelings of guilt for Goose's death, his sense of duty to protect Rooster due to a promise he made, and Rooster with his understandable resentment, but realize that they can only succeed and overcome this by working together. While the characters and their focal relationships provide a solid foundation for the story, it is the incredibly realistic action and exhilarating fight sequences that propel the narrative. As is expected with a Tom Cruise picture, most of the cast had to attend a 3-month-long aeronautics boot camp designed by Tom Cruise himself, as the legend wanted to use very little CGI. Scenes were filmed in actual fighter jets above the ocean, and so cast members needed to become certified in underwater evacuation in case of an emergency ejection, while also acclimating their bodies to raw G-forces. They essentially had to film their own takes thousands of feet in the air, and also needed to be trained in camera operation, cinematic lighting, and sound, which is just crazy. But man, does it pay off.
Every detail was worked out ahead of time, but ultimately when they're up there, it's up to them to turn the camera on and play the scene. So you're putting a lot of responsibility in our cast, but they're incredible people.
There are numerous mind-blowing moments of airborne action, including intense training sequences that have you gripping your seat thanks to the amazing cinematography and sound design. When the training wheels come off in the third act with bullets and missiles flying, the results of the painstaking filming process are evident. As actors' faces smush around due to G-forces and fighter jets break the sound barrier at supersonic speeds, it's clear that you're watching something real. That said, there are a few problems, most of which stem from underdeveloped characters and subplots. With the emphasis on the relationship between Maverick and Rooster, the rest of the squad get brushed aside. Apart from a brief introduction that establishes their identifiable traits, there's not much else to latch onto. Admittedly, the ensemble cast do get plenty of screen time, but Rooster and Maverick are the only ones that felt as though they grew from the experience. While there's a fair bit of chemistry between Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly, who haven't aged since the 90s, the relationship between Maverick and Penny feels like a distraction from the rest of the story. Having said that, it was nice to see a happy ending though, and no, not that kind, get your mind out of the gutter. Between another shirtless day of beach sports for the ladies, Maverick zooming by the flight control tower, and disagreements over flying below the hard deck altitude, the sequel does a good job of paying homage without feeling too repetitive. Hans Zimmer and Harold Faltermeyer also knock it out of the park with their compositions and the score, which add a great sense of scale to the movie's more intense moments. Overall, Top Gun Maverick is a refined sequel, fueled by expertly choreographed action, top-tier audio, and excellent performances. Tom Cruise, as always, puts his all into the role, leading the film with another career-defining outing, and his biggest box office draw yet. Miles Teller brings both emotion and heart, along with his trademark intensity, while supporting actors like Glenn Powell, John Hamm, Val Kilmer, and Jennifer Connelly all deliver their A-game. With its booming sound, brilliant visuals, and thrilling pace, Top Gun Maverick demands to be seen on the largest screen and the loudest sound system possible, and it deserves all the amazing box office success it has received.